Assigned watering days and landscape watering restrictions are necessary under the valley's drought conditions. These restrictions are one way to reduce water waste, which includes any water that sprays or flows off your property. Only water on your assigned days and don't water between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. May through September to avoid water waste. Water providers in Southern Nevada investigate all types of landscape areas for these and other violations of water waste ordinances. Property owners can receive a water waste fee for failing to fix a violation. Most water waste is caused by improper or inefficient landscape irrigation. Overwatering is an obvious water waster even to the untrained eye. Standing or pooling water can be seen, or water sheets off sidewalks and curbs when the turf and the valley's hard soils simply can't absorb the excess water fast enough. Overwatering is the result of applying too much water to your landscape. So what is the right amount? It all depends on the type of grass, root depth, the degree of the slope, soil quality, sun exposure, and more. To avoid overwatering, test your irrigation system. The cycle and soak method of watering gives your yard several shorter drinks of water, rather than one longer one. The water absorbs faster, benefiting your lawn instead of running down the street. The Water Authority generally recommends 3 cycles of 4 minutes each on assigned watering days, but your lawn may need more or less. To customize your watering cycles, manually turn on your first sprinkler station and begin timing the run immediately. Monitor how many minutes elapse before water begins to pool or run off. Stop the cycle at that point and subtract a minute. That's your run time for that station. Repeat the process for each station since run times may vary with each. Allow the water to fully soak in before running another cycle. Generally, this takes at least 1 hour. If dry spots crop up, hand water them selectively rather than just running your sprinklers longer across the whole yard. To help your lawn absorb water, aerate at least twice a year in spring and fall. This process of punching out cores of soil allows water and nutrients to flow more completely into the root zone, rather than off of it. The next common water waster is overspray. To isolate an overspray problem, test key components of your irrigation system. Sprinklers can easily twist or turn. Briefly turn on your irrigation system after each mowing. Adjust any misaligned sprinklers by turning with a firm grip of your hand, or gently turn them with pliers. Improper nozzles are another cause of overspray you may need to address. Sprinkler nozzles aren't one size fits all. They come in 45, 90, 180 degree, and full circle spray patterns, and may spray out 4 to 12 or more feet. Some are low angle, others may even be reduced water nozzles. If overspray leads to water waste, you may have the wrong nozzle for the size or shape of your turf area. Manufacturers indicate nozzle measurements by color, crosshatch patterns, or numerals and more. It can be confusing, so ask a pro if you're not sure what you need. For uniformity, it's best to stick with the same brand and not mix and match parts. The Water Authority recommends fixed pattern nozzles to deliver water more precisely to turf areas that are relatively squared off or standard in size. Adjustable or variable arc nozzles are handy for some problem spots, such as narrow or curved areas, but may not completely solve an overspray issue since water can't follow a curve. Consider multi-stream rotor heads, which elicit virtually no runoff or standing water and cover micro problem areas with easy arc and radius adjustments. The next water waster investigators often spot is one many property owners dread: an irrigation system leak. One indicator of a leak is an area of your landscape that's more green or wet and marshy than other areas. But many times, a leak shows up more insidiously as a slow but consistent trickle of water. It's often noticeable near the curb or street, since this is typically a landscape's lowest point, and that's where water gathers. A leak then trickles down into the gutter. Whether or not you can fix a leak yourself depends on your comfort level and willingness to literally dig into the problem. You probably will have to remove a fair-sized chunk of grass to get down into your system and find the source of the leak. You could have a broken sprinkler or perhaps a break in the irrigation line itself. If in doubt, you may want to call in a professional. When what looks like overwatering becomes non-stop watering, or a low-lining sprinkler head is chronically seeping water, the cause of the water waste could be a stuck valve. Normally, an irrigation valve opens when the system turns on and closes when the run cycle is complete. When a valve sticks in the open position, the system can run endlessly. A stuck valve can be caused by rocks, debris, or simply by age. Some valves last a few years, while others go strong for a decade or more. For immediate relief against a system that is wasting water non-stop, turn off the system at your backflow device until you can repair the faulty valve. Stuck or leaky valves usually need to be dismantled to clean out debris or replace worn parts. Obstructed spray patterns are another water waster. One common sight is a sprinkler that shoots onto a fence, a tree, or something other than the grass, with most or all of that water wasted. The solution might be as straightforward as installing a nozzle with a different reach, angle, or spray pattern. But spray obstruction is often the result of inappropriate design for that area, so you may need to change your design or relocate an irrigation line or other element to resolve it. Obstructed spray patterns also can be caused by sprinkler heads that don't pop up high enough, which means water only hits a few nearby blades of grass instead of the entire irrigation zone intended for that sprinkler head. Grass grows taller in warm months, so you may need to fix the obstruction by retrofitting existing sprinkler heads. Install 4-inch tall pop-ups to effectively water the area. A landscape that looks nice might be a challenge to water efficiently. That's why inappropriate landscape design can be another source of water waste. Narrow turf strips of less than 10 feet by 10 feet, curved turf areas, as well as grass on slopes are particular problems. Sprinklers often overshoot slopes or curves, and water easily runs off. Solutions to a water-wasting landscape design range from simple to complex. Try removing turf from edges and replace it with shrubs or ground covers to buffer runoff. You can replace narrow or sloped turf area entirely with water-smart landscaping that is watered by drip. You can even install subsurface irrigation that waters turf beneath the surface, but this can be pricey. If you can't bear to part with turf yet, then inspect existing sprinkler nozzles and replace if needed. A low precipitation nozzle may minimize waste. If you have a nozzle that sprays out 16 feet to water a 10-foot wide area, try changing it out for a smaller nozzle. Shorter sprinkler run cycles may reduce runoff, but if the design itself is still a problem, this won't eliminate waste. You may not have any of the water waste violations shown here, but if you are watering outside of your assigned days or during restricted times from May through September, you still can be cited for water waste. Make sure your irrigation clock is set only to water on your assigned days, and make it a practice to water in short cycles in the early morning hours in all but the coolest winter months. You'll lose far less water to evaporation and late day winds. In winter, water in mid-morning to prevent ice formation. Here are more tips to help avoid water waste. Get to know the basics of your irrigation clock. It may be time to replace an outdated clock with one that allows you to more finely tune your watering. You may even qualify for a rebate from the SNWA. Next, ensure your plants and trees are watered by drip irrigation. Their root systems thrive on deeper but less frequent waterings, not the short bursts that sprinklers deliver. Finally, be aware that different areas of your yard may have varying water needs, and don't hesitate to adjust run times for each. For example, a north-facing landscape is often shaded and may need less watering and shorter cycles than areas exposed to harsh afternoon sun. Improper turf watering is the greatest cause of water waste. Converting to a drought-tolerant landscape through the SNWA's WaterSmart Landscapes rebate program is the best way to eliminate water waste. For information about the rebate program, visit snwa.com. While you're there, look for more tips and free resources to help you water smart. Or call the SNWA's Conservation Helpline at 702-258-SAVE. For specific information on water waste enforcement or ordinances in your community, contact your water provider. By promptly fixing water waste problems and monitoring the changing needs of our landscape, we can water wisely in the desert.